Hey guys, welcome to episode 23 of the Ladywing Crafts podcast. My name is Zakiya, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as @Ladywing You can also feel free to email me at ladywingdesigns@gmail.com. Easiest way to get in contact with me is through Ravelry or Instagram, though. Feel free to message me on there. And I'll respond to you when I get your message, or when I see it. Yeah, heads up, this is probably going to be kind of an awkward episode, a lot of fumbling over my words, because I'm just really out of practice, so keep that in mind. There will be lots of so's, lots of ums, probably lots of yeahs. Sorry, not sorry. There will also probably be some sniffing, because all the yarn fumes, a lot of fiber fumes, hint, hint. Yeah, so there will be some sniffing, some nose rubbing. The usual, right? Anyway, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. I've missed you guys. My crafty mojo in general has really been lacking. Yeah, it's just really on again, off again right now, both my cross-stitch mojo and my knitting mojo, so that's been kind of annoying to deal with, because I just want to get so much crafting done on so many levels, and my mojo just hasn't been here, so I'm just kind of working on whatever I feel like at the moment, and you'll see that, because there really aren't a lot of projects that I have to talk to you about, so that have even seen major progress, so it'll be interesting. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, of course, if you're new, welcome. Lovely to have you. Thank you for stopping by. If you're an old follower or returning follower, thank you for coming back, even after I keep having these really long stretches without videos. But to that point, excuse me, if you're on Instagram and you follow me, because I haven't been really on Ravelry either, so if I usually talk to you in forums over there and you haven't been seeing me, I'm fine. I haven't really been on Ravelry a lot because I've lost my mojo, and Ravelry just wasn't at the front of my mind. But yeah, because I haven't been podcasting like I'm supposed to be doing. If you're on Instagram, again, I'm at Ladywing Designs on there. Sometimes I'll get into the habit of posting progress pictures every day on whatever I'm working on. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but I've been really into posting on my Instagram story. So sometimes even if I don't have an actual post on my page, if you look at my story, sometimes that'll let you know what I've been working on. Excuse me, because I'll put progress pictures on there, and that kind of thing. And if you don't know how to get to your stories on Instagram, I was just gonna explain it, but I have my phone right here, so I'll just show you before I start liking pictures on here. So this is my Instagram page when I open it up. So you can see, like, there's my profile picture, and then there's all these other bubbles up here. Okay, sorry, something's shifting in the trash can. And anyway, yeah, so you can see all these little other bubbles up here with other people's profile pictures. So those are how you can access your stories. That's one way, and you can like scroll through for all the people that you follow if they have stories up there, and you just click on them, and it'll bring up their story. So you can get to it that way, or if you go like mine, I'm just gonna click on my profile, but if you go to the person's profile, their profile picture up here, you can also click and get to their stories that way. And you can just like you can see here that I've been posting some stuff. So yeah, check those out. Just kind of a way to keep up with me since I haven't been posting all that much. Like I said, actual post. Or rather, not that I haven't been posting that much, but it's not always crafty. And like now, like I've kind of gone like a few days without posting a progress picture on anything on my actual profile. So just options. um, okay, anyway, so on to the knitting stuff because I can't think of anything else I want to say. We have a Ravelry group. If you go to Ravelry, groups tab, search Ladywing Crafts Podcast. Show notes are over there for almost every episode. This one will have a show notes thread. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to if I'm going to put the show notes like in the description box below. Like I always do with the links and everything, I might just leave a link to the Ravelry show note thread, and you guys will just have to go over there because I'm not sure how much editing I'm going to feel like doing. Or rather, how much typing I'm going to feel like doing after all the video editing. So, okay. Knitting content. Or crafty content, rather. Excuse me. I'm wearing my first bendy arrow. If you have been watching the last few episodes, you'll know that I have a second bendy arrow that I started and knit pretty fast through and never finished. Yeah, still not finished. I haven't touched it at all. But this is bendy arrow the first, as I like to call it. I have shown it, I won't say several times, but a few times on the podcast, so you guys really know what it looks like, but I love it, so I'm going to hold it up again. So this is my first bendy arrow. I love it, I love it, I love it. Love, 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 love. So these colors, let's see. I don't remember. And there will be a link to this project page in the show notes too. I think this is Frankie Fibers and Malt. And I know that this is a Woolen Homestead colorway. I'm having trouble right now remembering which one. I think this is Hagrid's Happy Hour though. Yes, it is. This is Hagrid's Happy Hour. And to that note, when I was on Instagram right before I started recording, I saw a Woolen Homestead post saying that she had 4 skeins of this in the shop. So there you go. That exact colorway. And I love that colorway. At least I think it was Hagrid's Happy Hour. I'm pretty sure that's the one that I saw her post about. But anyway, yeah. I think that's what those colors are. I love this shawl. It's just a quick and easy pattern, and the colors go really well. With some stuff I have in my wardrobe. Which, speaking of which, funnily enough, this is not my shirt. This is my boyfriend's shirt because, yeah, okay. I put this on all wrong, guys. We're gonna take 2 seconds for me to fix this because this is kind of ridiculous. I should be able to put on a shawl by now. Yeah. If you ever wanted a how I wear my shawls tutorial, there you go. Which, I mean, I put shawls on the same way every time I show them off on the podcast, so that's nothing new if you've watched and like paid attention to it before. Anyway, okay, so that's what I'm wearing. FOs. There are gonna be a crap ton. So get ready, grab some knitting and a drink for sure, because I am going to put in, so the reason why we haven't had an episode in so long is because I recorded at the end of September, I think, and I didn't like the episode, and a bunch of time had gone by anyway, because it took me a whole nother month, because I just didn't want to edit. So then at the end of October, I re-recorded that episode. I deleted the old one and I re-recorded, so I had to talk about all those FOs twice. Well, I'm not talking about them a third time. I'm not even, because it was a ton of them and I don't feel like getting them all back out to put up, so yeah, not doing that. But I still have the old clip, thank goodness. So I'm gonna pop that clip in here from literally like a month ago. um, and I'm gonna put in the FO clip from that so that you guys can still see all of them, because like I said, it's a ton of them. And then we'll come back and I'll show you some more current FOs. So let's go to Past Zakiya. Let's talk about some finished objects, because some actual knitting. This is actual knitting. I definitely knit this. That definitely happened. So, finished objects, I've got a ton. Part of the reason why I'm refilming is so that I don't have to put in a clip like I did in the last video of something I finished since I filmed. So, let's talk about this one first, because I mean, it's not super exciting anymore because it's been a couple weeks, but I may have finished my Katie shawl, finally. Finally. Oh my gosh, guys. So glad, so glad to have this done. So this is my Katie shawl. This was designed by Cozy Up Knits, which is the Cozy Up Knits podcast. They used to be Cozy Up with the Stitchin' Sisters, those lovely ladies. So here is, whoops, here's the shawl, just kind of a slow pan of it. Then there's the other side where you bind off. As you can see, none of my ends are woven in. I will get to this eventually. It has to be blocked. You can see it's all wrinkly from being stuffed in a bag for months. So it definitely needs to be blocked now. And I want to block it because it's garters, so it's going to stretch, which will be nice because I didn't use up the rest of the yarn like I wanted to. This was the last section of the shawl, which is where I was. And I had already finished this giant, I made the contrast color a giant section to kind of mirror this big section here. And then I was going to do like more striping between the two colors and then come back and bind off in the main color. The goal was to use all of the yarn of both skeins, and I didn't feel like it anymore. I needed the cord off of this for another project. So I just went ahead and bound off. It's done. I think it'll be a pretty good size. This is the whole thing. I think it'll be a pretty good size, especially once it's blocked, because like I said, it's garters, so like it's gonna stretch. So that's done. I did this on I think size 3 needles, either 3 or 4. Don't go by that though. I'm a super loose knitter. So I maybe put my gauge on that project page, but probably not. Now let's play Can I Find the Yarn? I could have just showed you on the shawl, I know, but that would have been really smart. So these are the yarns that I used for that shawl. This is the main color, Rita Mae Yarns, in the fawn colorway. This is on her 75-25 base. I can't remember the name. Sweet Pea sock. And like I said, it's 75 superwash merino, 25% nylon. This is the same fiber content, 75-25, but it's Teeny Button Studio in the Burrow. That's the name of the colorway. The Burrow, Harry Potter, of course. So, that's the yarns that I used for that. And I mean, you can see, like, I was almost there with both of them. Really, I probably could have just done a couple more repeats, but I was over it. It had already been sitting for months. So that's done. I think that's everything I wanted to say about it. Next, let's talk about some hats. So last month, oh, that was another thing I wanted to say. So a lot of these projects that I'm showing you have to do with the house cup. So there's going to be a lot of house cup references if you're new or you're old and you just don't remember. follower, new follower, old follower, not like 8. Anyway, for all followers, if you don't know or don't remember, I am an avid participant in the Harry Potter Knitting and Crochet House Cup. It's a group on Ravelry. There are instructions. If you read them, you're kind of interested, you're super confused, which you probably will be if you read through everything. Feel free to message people on there, to message me, whatever. It's addicting, but it makes you finish stuff. Plus, if you're competitive, there are imaginary points involved. Just saying. So anyway, a lot of this stuff is going to refer to the House Cup. I'll probably say stuff. So this was one of the classes. Okay, thoughts. Get it together. This is one of the things that I knit for a class last month. The new term started in September, so I was pretty busy. So this hat, I used the Tyson hat pattern. I don't remember the designer's name, so I'll put that on screen. Excuse me. So yeah, it's just a basic hat pattern. This is Lion Brand Vanna's Choice in the gold colorway. So it's a worsted Aran. I can't remember which one technically it is, but I use them interchangeably. So yeah, so like I said, just a basic hat pattern. It's a free pattern. Not much else to say about it. Yellow hat. That's going to be charity because I already have a yellow hat, so I don't need another one. So next hat, there was something else I was going to say, but we're going to move on. So next hat that I made, this was for a Quidditch match. And I'm going to put in a picture of the yarn that I took when it was in the cake, because this is not showing up well. It's not going to show up well, not on my camera, because it's not fancy enough. But it's this beautiful, like, perfect blend of like a light purple and a gray, and oh, it's just gorgeous. So this pattern is the Wanderwood Beanie by Tristan Molina, who is half of the Girls in the Yarn Cafe podcast, and she's the dyer behind Dragon Horde Yarn. So this is her Wanderwood Beanie. Oh, I love this. I've wanted to make it since she designed it and first put it out. When I saw it, I was just like, I have to have that. It's gorgeous. I love seed stitch. The texture that it makes, the look of it, knitting it, like actually the process of knitting it, I just love seed stitch. And I also am a really big fan of cables. So, and 2x2 rib, look at that. Like, all my favorite things. And hats are quick, so that was really helpful. So that's the pattern. The yarn is Stranded Dye Works. This is her old Castaway DK base, and the colorway is Shiner. So if you know what that colorway looks like, you understand like why this is gorgeous. But also I should have put in that picture by now, so you hopefully could see the purple and the grays in the yarn. So I love the hat, and it's just the same thing on the other side. I love it. Oh my gosh, look at these decreases. Like, it comes perfectly, I can't do this. It's like perfectly in the center with all of the cables. And just the way that they meet up in the center. I love that. So I had a lot of fun doing this. And like I said, this is DK weight yarn. And it's a free pattern. So this worked up super quick. Just super, super quick. I love this. I'm definitely wanting to make another one, but I'm not sure what colorway I'm going to do it in. I haven't decided yet. And this brought me a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, because I bought that yarn specifically for that pattern, like probably around this time last year, and that yarn actually became that pattern that I planned for it to be. So I'm feeling pretty good about that one. Okay, next we're going to do some tiny finishes. So I want to say in the last episode that I mentioned mannequin clothes that I'm making for my mom. So I'll pop in a picture of the mannequins that she has sitting in her craft room. And you can see one of them has like little clothes on. So I had knit a circular swatch for something for the house cup, and my mom liked it, and she said, hey, can I have that? Like, my little doll mannequin thing could use some clothes. So I bound it off, woven the ends, and gave it to her. And as you can see, she has two. She's since gotten the second smaller one, and she requested more clothes for them. So if you remember from the last episode, my interface wrap, this is the first three colors from that. She really liked that fade, so I did that, just the first three colors, because those are the ones she liked. This one does not have a project page, so, but I mean, you know, message me if you want to know something, I can tell you, but it's pretty much just a sock tube that has cuffs on the end of it. It's super short. So this is for the bigger one. And then this is for the smaller one. Now this one does have a project page because I used it for something for the house cup. But it doesn't have notes on there at all, I don't think. So not anything helpful for you guys. So again, if you want to know about these, ask, but like there's not much to say about them. I won't go over the yarn for this one. Like I said, check last week's episode because I talked about that project. This is the same yarn that I used for the cowl that I made her, which I also showed last episode. So this is Lavender Loon Yarn Co. in the Sea Donkey colorway. And per usual, you can't see the green tint that's on this. It's definitely got a green hue to it. So, those are done. The other small project, I did a couple Hexie Puffs, again, for the house cup. I just whipped up some of this. I will link the project page for my Hexie Puffs. It has the notes for, sorry, I'm losing my thoughts right now. It has the notes for these two in the notes section because I used them for a class. But pretty much the only important thing, if you want to know the yarn color, this is the cinnamon colorway of Cascade Heritage. So I feel like that's the only thing that's probably helpful from this. We're gonna get through this. I have a lot to talk about, so let's do this stuff first. Yeah, so my brain's just like slowing down on me. We're gonna get through it. Plus I need to try to hurry up before boyfriend gets off work. I don't want to have to try to film the end of this while he's here. So, next finished objects. Did you guys notice my sock display up here? These were up there too, right? I love it. I love it. You guys know I love socks. Love, 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 love socks. Just goodness. Just good feelings. Goodness all around. So these first ones you guys saw last episode. These are the Better with Sprinkles socks. And I think that pattern is by Tinley Originals. Again, it'll be on screen. So this yarn, do I have the tag? Yay! I found the tag. Okay, so this yarn is Mad Fuzzy, and this is dyed by Marta of the Mad Fuzzy podcast. She's in Maine. So the colorway is Tutti Frutti, and this is on her Pure Fuzzy base, 100% East Frisian wool. And this one was actually from the first milling of this yarn. So that's fun. I won this yarn in a giveaway that I participated in for Marta's podcast. So this is the yarn, and there are, oh, you can kind of see them, the green speckles also. And I mean, there's like, you're not going to be able to see that, but there's like a highlighter yellow. Most of it's the pinks, darker pinks, and greens. There's a lot of the green up through here. You can really see a lot of those speckles there. So I love it. And it's a delicate base color. So this is the pattern. Let me see if I can. So that is what the pattern looks like. I love it. It's super fun to work, super easy to memorize. I love it. So I loved this pattern, like I said, super simple. The yarn I also loved working with. This is definitely more of a rustic yarn. It's not super wash, it's not merino, so it's not super soft. It's definitely, like I said, closer to rustic or a more rustic yarn, but I love it. When I tried these on my feet, they didn't bother me too much. Granted, I only had them on for a couple seconds and, I wasn't walking around. I was just trying to see if they fit, but it didn't bother me too much. So I think these are going to be really nice as it starts, whenever it starts actually getting cold. These will be really nice to have, and there are two. So finished those. I'll say what I was going to say in a minute if I remember. If not, maybe I'll remember while I edit. So anyway, next pair of socks. I like this display. I'm gonna pop them all back up there as I finish. So next pair of socks that I finished. I can't remember if I was working on these on the last podcast. Maybe I was. So this yarn is gorgeous, and oh, I found it. Okay, I'm knocking. Oh no, I'm knocking things down. I have a bunch of my yarns scraps, those giant cakes of yarn that you have when you finish things. They're all sitting on my coffee table because this is where I craft. So anyway, this pair of socks, this is the yarn that I had left over. It is the Pollination colorway, which is a one of a kind from Wee Chickadee Wool Co. And oh, it's just gorgeous. You guys know, or maybe you don't. My favorite color is yellow. Any yellow, but specifically, except for pale yellows, like pastels, I don't always like those. But mostly like mustards, golds, or just really bright sunshiny yellows. I like those too. So this is all of the yarn that I had left over, and these are the socks. So I worked these cuff down. I started with a 2x2 or German short row, good grief, German twisted cast on, 60 stitches, 2x2 twisted rib. I usually do 15 rows, which is pretty much on all of my project pages. I usually put what I do on the first sock on the project page so that it's easier for me to follow on the second sock. So if you guys are ever wondering what I do, it's probably on the project page. Anyway, 2x2 rib cuff. Then I did 3x1 rib. You can see the difference there. 3x1 rib for the leg, and I did that on the front and the back. And then mini heel flap adjustment, which is from Mina's Vanilla Sock Recipe. And then German short row heel, as always. This is pretty much my standard heel. The mini heel flap adjustment plus German short row heel. It's pretty much my standard. And then I did 61 rows for my foot, stockinette on the bottom, obviously, and then just a standard wedge toe. So basically, that was what I was going to tell you. That was what I was going to wait until later to say. That's basically my standard sock recipe. Every once in a while I'll do socks toe up, but it's pretty much going to be the same thing, just in reverse. So there are those socks. I love them. Okay, next finished socks is this one. And let me see if I can, well, you can see, this one is a cable pattern. And the cables mirror on each sock. So hopefully you can, yeah, maybe that's a little better. Hopefully you can kind of see that cable pattern. There are two small twist cables that go at the side, and I love this. This was fun. I'm really glad that the one pattern that had cables got chosen first. So these socks are done, and there you can see they do mirror each other. So this one's twisted weird. So you can see they're on opposite sides. Um, Funny thing that happened with this pair, I think it's this one. So this foot is only 56 stitches and the leg is 60. Somehow when this pair I did toe up. So when I was increasing for my toe, somehow I miscounted or wasn't paying attention, and I stopped increasing at 56 stitches and worked the entire foot. I didn't realize that I didn't have the right number of stitches until I was finishing the heel. So it was fine. I just increased. So the leg will fit right, and the foot does fit. It's a little tight, but I don't mind. Like, I can still get it on my foot, so it's fine. Second sock is all 60 stitches. So those are done, and this yarn is Vivid, and this is also a one of a kind. It doesn't have a colorway name, and that's pretty good. Basically, it's a natural colored yarn with a ton of speckles on it. I love it. Okay, so that's those socks. And then the second pair for my owl, so, which I'm also going to say this, for my owl, I'm doing 5 pairs. So my midterm, which is just as it sounds, has to be turned in during October, and that's 5 socks, so 2.5 pairs. So this is the second pair that I finished. So these are the downpour socks. Did I say what that last pattern was? I didn't. Okay, let's go back. So these, no pattern that I followed. It's just a 3x1 rib. These are the Added Elegance socks, and I can't remember who the designer is. I'll pop that up on the screen. So Added Elegance socks, and I did say Vivid Yarns, one of a kind colorway. I want to say this is, I can tell you. Yeah, that was 75.25. Superwash merino nylon. So anyway, second pair of owl socks. There are 2. These are the downpour socks, and this is a pattern by Susie White, aka Prairie Girl Susie. What do I want to say? Let's talk about the yarn. So the yarn is why do I never have these things around me, guys? Oh no, it's right here. I lied. So this yarn is the Cozy Knitter in her Gingerbread House colorway. Super popular Christmas colorway. If you've ever seen people knit Christmas socks, especially around Christmas time, it's probably a colorway that a lot of people have. It's one of her, maybe her most popular colorway. I don't know. Definitely one of them though. So anyway, this sock pattern also mirrors. So you can see here, the slip stitch pattern is on opposite sides. So they mirror each other, and here's a little close up of the pattern too. So it slip stitches, and I love it. This was also really fun. These worked up so fast between the pattern, which was really easy to memorize, or not memorize, but like it was pretty quick to work up because most of the stock is still stockinette. Oh yeah, and the pattern is on the back of the leg too. I guess you could leave the back of the leg blank if you wanted to, but I did the pattern on the back, and I'm really glad that I did. I like it. Yeah, so combination of the pattern and the stripes. Oh, I love it. And because these are skinnier stripes, it really was like, okay, I can do one more stripe. I can do one more stripe because they're like 3 or 4 rows each. So that was just really fun to work up. And I did do contrast heels and toes. I don't know. I think I already put the mini back in my
yarn storage. It's not really a system. Anyway, so with her yarn, this was one of her sets that came with 85 grams of the main color and 30 grams of the contrast color. So this contrast color came from her, and it is a cream. It's showing up like super stark white, and so is this. Um, and the mini is the same color as this. They're a cream. It's more of a cream. It's not white. So that's these socks. I love them. Just the colorway and the pattern, just perfect, perfect, perfect mix. This makes me crack up. So on this sock, I got pretty lucky. Oh, pause. This is the first time that I have done the mini heel flap adjustment and German short row heel in a contrast yarn. So you can see a little bit better that like here's the mini heel flap adjustment before you get to this heel right here. I thought that, that was gonna, I don't know why I was a little intimidated to try it with a contrast yarn, but it's super simple. There's not like a bunch of switching of the yarn. I don't know why I thought it was gonna be, but I was just kind of intimidated, and there's no reason to be, guys. This is so simple, so I'm definitely gonna be doing German short row heels and contrast yarn more often. Also, if this was like looking up, see, okay, maybe it's just me sticking my face in the camera, but this is like pretty true to color. It was before. Anyway, oh, okay, so that's what I was gonna show you guys. So on this sock, right, it was fine. Like I get down here, and you know, you never really want whatever contrast color, if it's a stripe, like you don't want it to end up really close because you want to be able to tell, like, okay, I added a different color in here. So this one was fine, you know, ended with a little strip of brown, everything's good. So that's where I started on the second sock. Well, here's the end of the second sock. So the last round that I was supposed to stop at is actually the one right before this red. But I stopped, and when I finished that round and I was like, okay, I'm done. And the red was almost there, but it hadn't come in yet. And I was like, I don't want to join the mini and it just be straight white. So I worked an extra round just to get that one line of red. That's good enough for me. And it's a little thicker on the back, but I just thought that was funny. Like, no, I need to work that extra round. I need that one red line. So those are those socks. Okay, so these are the last two finished objects that I have, but I did this on purpose. We're going to take a little bit of a spin, of a change into spinning. That was me trying to be punny, and it wasn't funny after I said it out loud. So anyway, finished object. This is, oh dear, Pancake and Lulu yarn. Yeah, P-O-Y. I always remember ply. That's what I would write on there. So Pancake and Lulu. This was some fiber that Melissa gave me. It was 100% domestic wool, and I want to say it was 4 ounces. So, was it? I'm pretty sure it was 4 ounces. So this, I don't remember how many grams this came out to be, but it's like 67 yards. Definitely not perfect, but better than this is only my second spin project. So you can see it's mostly a super bulky, mostly super bulky. And the colors are showing up pretty true, pinks and purples and a little bit of green. So that's that. And it's a 2-ply. For right now, I'm spinning all of my yarn 2-ply. So this is the second skein that I finished. Not second skein that I finished for this video, but this is my third ever project. So I'm really, 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 really happy with this one. So this is the first time that I spun thin for a project, like successfully spun thin. So you can see like how thin that is. And I mean, it's not the smallest, it's not fingering weight, but as a newer spinner, this was success. So, and some of my singles in here are thin enough, I feel like. Like that one's a little thinner of applied little strand. Anyway, so this, I forgot to get something. So I'm not even gonna pause it, just 2 seconds. So, I'm gonna grab this one because it's full. I could have grabbed both, just trust me, I have 2 sets of this fiber. Um, the other one is the one that's not as full, but they're the same exact thing. Let me take my little card out. This fiber is from Hip Strings, and their website is right here, hipstrings.com. This is their Blue Heron, which is the colorway, Merino color pack. So this is all merino fiber, and I'm gonna take this out because that glare is pretty bad. Excuse the crinkling. So, oh, and I don't have any more. Okay, so this is a gradient set, and I picked an order. All of this is on the project page again. I'll link it. But I picked an order that I wanted to do, and that's the way that I'm spinning them. So like this is the first ply of the first little bit of the gradient. So it's this. This is a dark purple. It looks blue, but it's a dark purple. And this blue, right? So I like each of these is an ounce. This is a full one. So each of these, actually it's not, but anyway, each of these is an ounce. So I take one, spin this whole ounce, and then I split this one in half. So that's an ounce and a half. And then and then I would spin the exact same thing from the other set, right? So this is all of the purple and half of the blue. All of the purple, half of the blue. Then they'll be plied together. So those colors are staying together, but I'm also kind of hoping for a marl somewhere in the plied so that it'll kind of fade. So on this one you can kind of see how the blue, hopefully you can see that, how the blue and the gray from the two different singles like ended up barber poling. Because, you know, the singles are not the exact same perfect length, so you get a little bit of a marling effect. So then, after the purple and the blue, the next part of the gradient, obviously I had to finish the other half of the blue, so that was the next like beginning of the next singles, and then I joined in this gray. So this gray is the full ounce because that was a darker gray. So then the rest of the gradient, after that, I need to finish the first purple and blue one. But anyway, so then after that, it's going to be this taupish brown. It's more of a brown. It looks gray on screen, but it's got more of a brown to it. So that and this light gray, half of this, and then it'll be the other half of this, and all of this beige. I'm not sure. Again, it's showing up white on camera. It's not really helping. It's showing up the same color as that wall, but it is, but you know, you guys are seeing a blown out version of it. So it's definitely a cream, but I'm not sure if this is natural or if it was still dyed. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing for this spinning project. So it's just taking a little bit longer because there are 4 skeins essentially that I'm spinning. But I'm enjoying the project. I'm loving it. And you'll actually see this spin as a work in progress. I guess I could have explained all of that then, but it makes more sense so that you'll understand what's going on here. So anyway, that's the story behind this skein. So this is, again, a 2-ply, and I got 164 yards. Again, just super excited about this because it's the thinnest spin that I've had so far. All right, you back? You take a break if you need it, pause it, go to the bathroom, whatever, because that was a ton, I know. But now I have 3 more FOs. So, and the first 2 are socks, of course.
So we're going to start with these first, actually. So this first pair of socks that I've finished since that last video is my Knit Picks, or another pair, because this is not my first pair, of Knit Picks Felici socks. So this main color is Knit Picks Felici in the Dance Party colorway. And then I really liked the purple, blue, green effect, and I have a set of mini skeins that I got 2 summers ago in Nashville from Rain's Obsessive Stitchery. And so I used that since the set was purple, blue, and green. I figured it would be perfect to use with this skein of yarn. So this purple is, which is not coming up the right color at all. This purple is Cornwall from Rain's Obsessive Stitchery. This is also Rain's Obsessive in Anjan. It's on the project page. I'm pretty sure that's the right one, but if that's correct, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. And all of this is going to be on the screen too. And then I didn't have a green in that mini set that I thought looked really well with it, with the main colors, so I just used Lavender Loon Yarn Company in the Smashing Pairs colorway. And I feel like that's probably really hard to see. But yeah, I've shown it off before. It's a variegated tonal light green. But yeah, so that's what I used for that. Also, I totally see the appeal that Amy of Stranded, sorry for kissing my teeth a ton, but I totally see the fun that Amy of Stranded podcast was talking about with using variegated instead of solids for your heels, toes, cuffs for socks. I can see the appeal. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so for anyone who's wondering or who didn't see while I was working on this, I knit this in a sock tube because 1 ball of Knit Picks Felici is 50 grams, which is enough for me to get a full pair of socks out of. So I knit a sock tube. I did these cuff to cuff, so I started with 1 cuff, switched to the main color, knit a tube all the way through, did the other cuff, and then I split the tube and added in afterthought toes and heels. So this is the full 50-gram ball that I just knit straight through, put the other cuff on, and then cut in. Yeah, so that's how I did these 60 stitches total, 1.75 millimeter needles, which is a US 00, 2x2 rib cuff. That's everything I wanted to say about that, I think. Yeah, so I finished those. Excuse me. And then these socks also got finished. So these are pattern. The Weasley Homestead by Erica Luter. And that's the same person that did Hermione's Everyday Socks. If you've ever looked at her Ravelry pattern page, you'll know that she has a ton of sock patterns inspired by Harry Potter. So this is the second one? Third one? Third one that I've done now. Because I've also done Hermione's Everyday and the Neville socks. So this is the Weasley Homestead. You can see it's just a rib texture, but it was really great to work on. Simple enough that I could just zoom through it. So I did these cuff down, 2x2 rib again, this is what I normally do, a German short row heel with a mini heel flap adjustment, which is from Mina's Vanilla Sock Recipe. And then standard wedge toe, again, same needle size, same stitch count. The yarn that I used is Teeny Button Studio in the 3 a.m. on Bourbon Street colorway, and I love it. I've loved it since the first time Melissa showed it to me, which seems like forever ago. And I finally got a skein at SSK this summer, so look at that. Already using up SSK yarn. I might have to cut out some of this coughing. But anyway, so SSK, I was going to say, I'm thinking about doing what Amy did. Amy Amy does, again, of the Stranded podcast, how she has her like giant haul picture of what she got every year from SSK that she went, and then she like marks them out to know what she's used. So this was the first year that I've ever gone to the SSK marketplace, but like in everything I do crafty wise that usually never works, my goal is to not overdo it, because I would love to go to the marketplace again next year. So I don't want to have like a ton of stuff from this year, so I'm thinking of taking my giant haul picture that I took and like marking out the yarns that I've already used and that type of thing. So maybe I'll have that next time because I'm not doing it today. So those are the socks that I've done. This is the last FO, and it is a hat. So this is the Brimish hat pattern from Sarah Shira, aka Imagine Landscapes. So her Brimish pattern, guys, I'm just going to say it right now, get it. It looks expensive when you go to the pattern page. You're like, oh my gosh. I want to say it's $9, I think. $9 Canadian. But guys, I can't remember what I was about to say. Oh, I think I was about to say it's $9 Canadian, so like for us in the US, that's just a little bit cheaper. But still, even so, it's so worth it because it's more of like a hat recipe type of pattern. She has, so you can see this brim on this hat, kind of, maybe. I feel like everything is blowing out today, but you guys get the gist. Yeah, so you can see that kind of well. The brim on this hat looks like a faux cable. And she has 5 other brims that you can use in this pattern. So she has 6 total brims, and I think there's like 8 sizes. And she had like, and I'm not like sponsored, promoted, none of that, but like I just love this idea, and I love this pattern. So 6 different brims, 8 different sizes, a full family range, and then she has options for a beanie size, so like closer fitting, and a slouchy size for everyone. And because Sarah's amazing, right? Like, this is why it's totally worth the $9. Like, then she even goes to the lengths to make a full chart of possible yardage that you would need for each size if you want to do it one color or 2 colors. So like a color for the brim and then a different color for the hat, for the body of the hat. Oh my gosh. Guys, that's so worth $9 in my opinion. Just so worth it. So, so, so worth it. So yeah, go get this pattern. And I like am not ashamed of plugging for this because I seriously love it. So, and you guys know I'm a fast knitter, so I knit this in an evening. Wow, obnoxious sniffing. I'm sorry. Obnoxious. Anyway, English. Yeah, but so I love this hat pattern. I will definitely, I've already got 2 more planned because my boyfriend asked me for some hats. And I should probably do that because it was 36 degrees when I went outside earlier. So he's definitely going to need those hats. And I'm definitely going to be using this pattern. Like, we've already picked out what brims he wants and everything. So yeah, it's a super simple hat, and the body of the hat for all of them are stockinette. So like the only kind of patterned part you have is the brim right at the beginning, and then you get a bit of stockinette, and then you do your decreases. So it's really fun. So yarn, this is Lavender Loon Yarn Company in her Lavender Moon colorway, and this is worsted weight. It's a worsted weight hat pattern, which makes it even better because that's why it went so quick, right? This was worsted, right? Yeah. This is a worsted weight yarn. I almost used DK, but I had this skein of worsted, and since it was stockinette, I figured that would be really nice so that it'll show the variegation and everything. You guys aren't, yeah, you can see kind of the different colors in there, like this beautiful wine burgundy shades all in there. Love it. Oh, you can see it better on this side. Love it. It's gorgeous. Like I said, everything's kind of blowing out today, so it's not the greatest. Again, if I feel like I'll pop in some pictures, but I doubt it. I really doubt it, guys. I'm just not feeling like doing all that for editing. Okay, so that's all of my FOs. I have no idea how long that's gonna take. I'm at 23 minutes, and that's like I haven't put the clip in yet. So anyway, I've been kind of a busy bee over the last couple months. So those are all my FOs. Let's go to whips. We're just gonna continue on the sock train first, and to figure out what I was trying to say. So in my Manicory Creations Harry Potter bag, my little sock sack, I have a pair of socks, and I'm gonna briefly mention this. So this zipper pull, you can see here's the one that came with the bag. This zipper pull is actually meant to, it's sold as a, I don't know why I did quotes. It's sold as a scissor fob. So in the, I've never really seen these in the knitting community, the knitting crochet community, but in the cross stitch community, like, for your little cross stitch scissors, you can see I have one on here. It's just like a little scissor fob. It makes it easier to hold your scissors, to find your scissors. I love this. And I have another pair of short ones, but I need a short scissor fob for that. I didn't want to put this longer one on it. And I was going to put this somewhere else. I was going to put it on another pair of scissors that I had, the one that I keep in my Knitting Notions pouch, but what happened that I couldn't? Oh, those scissors, like, the handle was too fat, so I couldn't get the lobster claw around it. So I put it on my project bag instead, and I actually really like that. The longer ones look super cute. It's just like extra decoration on my knitting bag. So that's not good, because that just makes me want to buy even more. But anyway, where did I get this? There's a bunch of different people that make scissor fobs, I think. But I have gotten both of these from @Upton Stitches, and I'll put that on the screen. On Instagram, she just sells them, or she has an Etsy shop where a lot of them are, and then she also will just like sell them from her Instagram, and you just like, she'll put a bunch up and you comment which one you want on there, and then I think you like PayPal her or whatever. But yeah, so that's where I got that, if you're wondering. Manicory Creations bag. And in here I have another sock tube. So this yarn is Giddy Yarns. It's Christmas that I got from last year. So this is her Christmas stocking sock set. And I love this because it's 70 grams. So one, you're not going to pay the same price that you would for a full 100 grams. So saving you a little bit of money. But it's a sock set specifically because you get a 20-gram coordinating mini. So that this red is showing up pretty true to color. It's a pretty bright red. But yeah, so 20-gram coordinating mini. And then you get 50 grams of the main color, and you can see I have a good bit in it. So this ball's kind of The ball's kind of small. Anyway, okay. We're gonna make it, guys. Um, so this is the main color, and I started out with 50 grams of this. So it's 70 grams total. But for most people, they can get a pair of socks out of that. So, you know, rather, they can get a pair of socks out of 50 grams, most people, if they have the coordinating mini, right? So it's just kind of a cheaper option. And then, like, if you're the kind of person that 70 grams is literally what you need, then you don't have any scraps left over. So it can also be great in that sense, too. But yeah, so this is the Christmas stocking set, and from last year. I don't know, I have no idea if she did this colorway again this year. I haven't been keeping up with like people's shop updates and stuff because I'm not buying yarn. But yeah, anyway, so this is where I am, and like I said, I'm doing another sock tube, as you can see. And this one, just to change it up a little bit, because I started this after I finished the Felici one, because I really enjoyed having just the stockinette sock to just grab and go. The Felici socks were really nice because I got kind of lucky, so to speak, because when I was working on those, like, it was really like me going and spending time with my boyfriend's friends a lot, and just like going different places and like having time in the car and that type of thing. And just like if I had a few minutes, like, okay, I'm just gonna knit a couple of rounds or whatever, you know. If you're a sock knitter, you know the appeal of vanilla socks, and a sock tube is like the ultimate appeal of vanilla socks because it's just vanilla for forever. So this is where I am with this. Like I said, to change it up from the Felici, because I did those cuff to cuff, I'm doing this toe to toe. So you can see I've used that red for my toe, switched to the main color. This marker for y'all means nothing because you haven't seen it since I started anyway. I think the last time that I really worked on this is where I was when I started, so I did that. But like I said, my mojo's been on and off, so that was a couple of weeks ago at least. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm probably around halfway done with this. So if I can just pick it back up and get into it, I'll be able to do that. And the next pair of socks that I'm going to show you, excuse me, the next pair of socks that I'm going to show you will really explain why I haven't been working on these too much, because to split the sock tube, I need 2 pairs of needles, right? Because when I split it, it's going to be 2 things, so 2 sets of live stitches. I know this is partially just because I'm too lazy, but I just really don't want to order more sock needles. Partially because I'm not lazy, because guys, oh my goodness. So not necessarily lazy, because really it's just a couple clicks on Amazon, right? But more cheap, cause money. And I also have never, like, I think I've mentioned this before, I've never really wanted to buy a ton of sock needles, because then I'll start all these socks, and if I have that many options, I'm afraid that I won't get stuff done. And then I might actually end up with second sock syndrome, which is not really a thing for me. So I'm trying to resist buying another sock needle, but now there's like a scrappy sock advent going on in the house cup that I really want to do. Long story short, I'm thinking about buying three more cords, I think I said, and another pair of and 3 sets of needles, of needle tips. I'm really thinking about it, y'all. It's bothering me now because I just want to start so many pairs of socks and I don't have the needles. But anyway, so I say all that to say these are the only 2 needles I have. So like I said, when I split a sock tube, I need 2. So I really need to be working on this sock first to finish the other ones. So these are in my Slytherin sock sack that I got from Crochet 1 Knit 2. And she's a shop on Etsy. I talk about it a lot. I get a lot of stitch markers from her. So that's in my Slytherin sock sack. And the yarn that I'm using is Lavender Loon Yarn Company in her Moonlight colorway. Love it. Love, 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 love. Um, I just love the way that it looks when it's worked up, especially in this pattern. Like the little bit of texture that just runs through it is it's just great. I love it. And this is my little chocolate frogs progress creeper that Melissa made for me. Um, yeah. So this is Hermione's Everyday Socks. Again, the pattern is by Erica Luder, pretty popular. I am doing these, as you can see, toe up. On my project page in Ravelry, I wrote down the way that I'm knitting these, so the pattern is written cuff down. And the first time, forever ago, when I knit this pattern, I was only doing toe up socks, and I would always take my pattern and um, and take the chart and just flip it, just rotate it 180, and then I read that chart like you would read a regular chart, right to left from the bottom. And that's what is on my project page, so that's how I'm knitting that up. Because theoretically, I don't know why I did this at first, like it doesn't really make a difference. But theoretically, like this pattern looks the same way that it would look, like the bumps are in the same spots that they would be if I knit them cuff down. So like visually the sock still looks the same. It made sense in my head if it didn't make sense just then. Excuse me, that's not an attractive noise. But yeah, so these are these socks. You can see, this is just the first one. So you can see I've done just a normal slip stitch heel flapping gusset on these, which was nice. Did I do? No. So heel flapping gusset is fine for my foot. I don't have to do anything fancy like I do with German short row. So this is I'll put it on the screen, the pattern that I use for my heel flapping gusset. I can't remember the name of it. I know that it's by Joe Tor, but I can't remember the name of the sock pattern right now. It's like a pretty basic name. But yeah, so that's that sock. It looks great. Oh, in case anyone was wondering, the sock needles that I prefer using are ChiaoGoo Red Lace, the mini twist, and like I said, US 00 1.75 millimeter. 60 stitches for both of these socks. Yeah, and neither of these I've touched at all in a while, so I would really like to get back to both of those. I really just want to get the Hermione socks done, but the vanilla ones I really want to get back to. Okay, so next whip is the last knitting whip. So I made a post about this. Yeah, I made a post about this one for Instant Knit Night. And excuse me, I feel like I'm falling apart on camera. But this one has been going really well. So if you follow Skenanigans on Instagram, Melissa is her name. If you follow her on Instagram, you will have seen that on November the 30th, just in time for Advent season, she was one of the many designers, because Advent season, right? Like, is anyone else tempted to just, like, knit all the patterns because everyone is coming out with them for Advent season? Like, this happens every year, and I still, like, I just want all the needles to cast on all the projects, even though I only have one set of Advent minis. Like, it's ridiculous. But anyway, so Melissa released this pattern, and it's a scrappy blanket pattern. Guys, what else do you need to say? And everyone knows that I have plenty of sock scraps, because when your feet only take like 50 grams of yarn total, you end up with a lot of scraps. So I promptly started this blanket using some scraps, and I have fallen in love with it. So the name of this pattern is Northeasterly. If you want to see a bunch of different people's projects, the hashtag is Northeasterly Blanket, and I'll put it again on the screen. So yeah, this is, oh, that's actually like a pretty good screenshot. So this is my blanket, and oh, just so in love with it. So I'm doing, so about a little bit about the pattern. It is a paid for pattern. I think it's like $3. It's not that much. Um, but yeah, it's super simple. So as you can see, you're knitting in columns, and it's a join as you, also as you can see, it's a join as you go blanket. Um, so that's great. And it's in this little chevron pattern. I love it. And it's super simple to memorize. It's a 2-row repeat, just kind of like or not just like, but in the same fashion that the Cozy Memories blanket is that 2-row repeat. It's the same kind of thing. So it's really easy to memorize. You can literally take it anywhere, at least for right now, because it's small enough. Yeah, and I'm super psyched about it. So, like I said, November the 30th, I just so happened, it was one of those things where it's like, wow, I don't generally like a lot of your posts. So, you would think the algorithm wouldn't put it on my feed, but it was just one of those things. It just happened to be a post that they wanted me to see. And, again, it was the 30th, so that's where I was going. It was the 30th, so I didn't want to open my Advent minis, which I'll get to in a second. So, like I said, I started with sock scraps, and these are actually Advent scraps from last year. So I'll have 2 sets of Advent minis in this blanket. So the needles that I'm using, ow, trying to make sure I don't drop any stitches. Where's the other needle? So the needles that I'm using are the 2.75 millimeter signature needles. I think these are sharps. Sharps, is that what they call them? Stiletto. There we go. Stiletto. I was like, I know it's something like that. So these are the stiletto tips. Melissa gave these to me. This is the red 2.75 millimeter US size 2. And these are the same needles that I used on my Cozy Memories blanket. And I looked at that and I was like, I love the fabric that I got on my squares with that in the garter stitch. So I just grabbed these needles and I'm using it for this because I like the way that the fabric looks. So that's how I made that decision. Now, like I said, I have been using Advent minis on this. So this year I got I got my Advent set from Graceland Wool. And, oh, okay, funny, pause, guys. So, I just realized, that I also have on hand knit socks. So, this, I'm just gonna do this. These are my 'Twas the Night Before Christmas socks, patterned by Danny, Danny, right? Right? Isn't it Danny? I'm pretty sure it's Danny. Of the Little Bobbins Knits podcast. So these were a big hit last Christmas, if you'll remember, for the Christmas Eve cast on. I'm not sure, one, if I'm doing a Christmas Eve cast on. I want to, because it's socks, obviously, so I need to. But I'm not sure what I'm doing. I might do another one of Danny's patterns. We'll see. But anyway, that yarn, because I don't know where the skein is. What I was getting at is that yarn is Graceland Wool. So the yarn that I used for that, if you're an older viewer, you'll remember that I signed up for that Harry Potter mystery yarn club from her. And so I got 3 skeins of Harry Potter inspired yarn. Again, this is Graceland Wool. it'll be on the screen. And then earlier this year, when she was starting to advertise about the Advent minis, she gave a coupon code to people that had bought the Harry Potter Mystery Club, because the Advent is Harry Potter themed. So I hopped on that immediately because I knew that I wanted just one full Advent for the full 24 days instead of doing two half ones like last year. It was Harry Potter. I love Graceland wool yarn, so it was perfect. So I bought this back in June, like you do. But yeah, so anyway, so we get this letter, and I'm not pulling the box over here because it's, yeah, I'm just leaving it there. So we got our Hogwarts letter. They tell you about the yarn and everything. So each one is 10 grams, 24 minis for the first 24 days, 10 grams, 75/25 super wash merino nylon. And then we get, for Christmas Day, a full skein, and again it's 75/25. And then there are it says 4 mysterious extra pieces spread throughout. So I'll show you one that we got on the first day. Yeah, and then the greatest part about this is that you get a wand. So on the back, you see they have it just like tied on. Well, wand, yeah. Oh my gosh, guys, there's a legit wand. So I got my Hogwarts letter and a wand. And I didn't even have to go to Diagon Alley. But yeah, so that's that. There's a hashtag screen. Look on the screen, I mean. There's a hashtag for it if you'd like to look at other people's opening their minis. Yeah. I feel like we probably all have the same minis, so anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. But to that note, I'm gonna open in a second the fourth one, since today's December the 4th. But I'm not making separate posts this year like I did last year with like the cover picture of it in the bag and then revealing. I'm not doing that this year. I'm just putting them in my Instagram stories. So like what I showed you how to get to earlier. I'm just putting them in there, and then I have I'm saving them on an Advent highlight on my profile page, which I'll show you where those are. So if you go to the crap, just followed somebody that I didn't mean to follow. Okay, struggles. So if you go to the person's profile page right here, if they have bubbles right here, these are highlights. So that's stuff from their stories that they're saving so that you can go back to look at. So you can see I only have 2 here. This is from Surprise Wave September. And this one is the Advent one. So if you click on that, it'll bring it up. And you can see there's when I got my Hogwarts letter. And like it just goes through all of them, right? So, and I'm going to keep adding to that every day. So, yeah, that's how you can look at the Advents for my reveal every day. Like I said, I'm not going to do a post every day. So, now that we've talked about the Advent, quickly, this is the first day. This was the first day's mini. This is Gryffindor. This was Mandrake. This was day 2. Day 3, as you can see, I still haven't finished. My goal is to knit the mini into the blanket on the day that I open it. Like, that's theoretically what I would like to happen. I know at some point I'll get behind, and that's okay. So this is, you can see it's falling apart here, but this is the 3rd one. It's Professor Sprout. Y'all, I need a full skein of this. Also, can we talk about the fact that my computer generally does not like greens, but the green in here is showing up very well. That's very true to color. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Also, most of my head in this video I feel like is going to be chopped off. I don't care. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. with that. So yeah, day 3. Got it. Wow. Okay. Yarn barf just happened with that mini. I'm gonna put that down now. So let's pull number 4. Oh man, guys, I could not have asked for a better one to pull on the podcast. Guys, it's in like my favorite color. And of course, it's called Snitched. So that's that. Yeah, I love it. This is definitely. Oh, I'm so glad that I pulled this on the podcast today. So yeah, you guys are just gonna take 2 seconds, cause I'm gonna snap a picture of this so I can put it on my story later. While I'm thinking about it, gotta get the picture, and because I'm gonna throw that bag away. Okay, so I'll line that up later. So that's it for all the knitting whips. Let's talk about spinning. I'm gonna try to do this kind of quickly, guys. If you haven't realized it already, it's gonna be really long. So hang in there. We're almost done. Just hang in there. So um, I I don't even think that I had this in the last video to talk about. So it's definitely going to be long because I want to take the time to talk about this like I want to. So you guys know in the last couple of videos that my spinning bug has been like really with me. I've really been wanting to spin. Well, I may have finally made a purchase. So I actually bought this back in October, so this is not like actually a new purchase for me. So just it's been about a month since I've had it, but this, or maybe a month and a half. This is the Electric Eel Wheel EEW Mini. So this is the first one. I'll get to that in a second. So this is the first one that came out. I want to say last year, or maybe it was earlier this year. I can't remember exactly, but sometime within the last year, this one came out. It's from Dreaming Robots, and oh, I can't remember the person's name now that leads it. Matthew, one. Oh, I can't remember his first name now. Darn it. But regardless, the company's Dreaming Robots. If you go to dreamingrobots.com, you can see all of their products and read about them and all that stuff. But he does electric wheels. And so this is obviously a mini. But as far as their like full-sized ones or whatever, I think they're at version 5.2. So he's been doing this for a while. He's got a lot of respect and support in the community. It's pretty obvious if you look at the Kickstarter page and the website and that type of thing. But anyway, so I got a wheel because it's only $70, and it was mini, so it can sit up front or whatever, easily portable, and I really just wanted to see, okay, am I gonna like a spinning wheel? Am I gonna want like a full like treadle spinning wheel? Spinning wheel. The answer to that is yes. It did not take me long to figure that out. But yeah, this is a good option right now. College kid budget, don't have a lot of space as it is, so this just works really well. Yeah, so this is the wheel. This is from the front. You can see the drive band, flyer, my bobbin, my fiber I've been spinning. So there's a knob, or this is the power cord, but there's a knob right here for you to turn it on and off. It's not plugged in, so it wouldn't work even if I did. But yeah, so that's the wheel. And it's just like rubber banded onto this book. They tell you to do this. Quite honestly, I'm not sure why. I'm guessing for like stability. That's just been my guess. Honestly, they just said take the rubber band that we give you and put it around a book or something, and then I did it. yeah, so I just grabbed a book off my shelf that I love, but know that I won't be rereading anytime soon. So, it's like the fourth in the series, which is why I say that. But yeah, anyway, so that's the wheel. And like I said, you can see that I've been spinning. I haven't again, this is one of those things that I haven't touched in a while, in at least a couple weeks. So, I say I have been spinning, but it's been a minute. So forever ago, when Melissa first gave me those spindles, and I really got hooked on spinning, she gave me some fiber that she had gotten off of Knit Picks. And of course, I don't know where the tag is. Yeah, so of course I don't know where the tag is for the fiber. It honestly probably got thrown away or something, which sucks. But I think that this one, okay, I know which one, thankfully I know which one it is. So this color is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Roving in the Persimmon Heather colorway. So she gave me this, she just had one ball of it, which is 100 grams, it's like 3.5 ounces. And so the spinning wheel, I love it. But the bobbins are tiny. It only takes an ounce of fiber, which for me right now is fine. But I know that like I'm gonna need some bigger bobbins eventually, which is one of the reasons why I know I'm gonna get a spinning wheel. So what I did, I split it, like you just saw this one, and then there's the one attached. So I split it into fourths, so 1 ounce, because that's what the bobbins can hold, up to an ounce, or maybe just a little tiny bit over an ounce. But I think it's up to an ounce. So I split them all into four. It was 3.5 ounces, but I split it into 4 parts. And coincidentally, 2 of them came out to like 0.8 ounces, and 2 of them were 0.9. So I'm putting the 9s and the 8s together. So this is one of the sets that I've already started. So it's going to be 2-ply. My whole point with the spinning wheel is really just like seeing what I can do to like better my drafting, spin thinner, because that's much easier to me on this wheel than on a drop spindle. Which, I mean, I can spin pretty thin on a drop spindle too. It just is a lot easier to me on this wheel. Yeah, so I'm spinning this up, and this is actually the second project that I had started on the wheel. So there's that, and this is also some Knit Picks. Excuse me, I got fiber in my eye now. This gray color is also some Knit Picks. It's Knit Picks Full Circle in the Wolf colorway. Whenever I finish this one and get it all plied up and stuff, I'm going to come back and I'm going to spin this up in pretty much the same way, split it into fourths, 2-ply it. I'm going to spin this up, and then hopefully I will have enough to use these 2 colors to do like some type of shawl or something, like a small shawl, or I don't know. We'll see. It just depends mostly on whenever I actually get back to spinning and finish it up. So that's that. Okay, so that's that project, and then this is the last whip period. This is actually the first project that I really started spinning on that wheel. So you guys hopefully remember from the last episode, or was that the one that I didn't post? Yeah. So funny enough, it was the one that never got posted. So, so maybe this is episode 22, or is it 23? I don't know. I'm an hour in, and now I'm debating what episode number it is. Anyway, so I can't remember if you guys got to see this or not then, but this is created by LCB Fiber. I'll hold it a little closer. There's all her contact stuff. She's at Created by LCB on Instagram, and if you type that same thing into the search bar on Etsy, no spaces, it'll immediately bring up her shop. Um, or maybe not, because it says .com, but the shop part I think is through Etsy. Anyway, go look at her fiber. If you're a spinner, you probably already know about her. Her fiber colors are amazing. So this colorway, I got 2 braids of this because I knew that I wanted to try for a decent sock spin. I don't know if it'll be fingering weight or not. Probably not, because my singles are fingering weight. But, you know, trying. So this is Tuscan Sunrise. It's the name of the colorway. And it's her Superwash Merino Nylon. It's 85% superwash, 15% nylon. Each one is 4 ounces. So like I said, I got 2 so that when I do my 2-ply at the end, it'll be like the 4 ounces. You know what I mean? Yeah, 4 ounces ply. Although I guess it would still technically weigh like 8 ounces. You know what I mean? So that project, right? So I've already spun up half of this one. So, like with the other one, because remember this was my first project on this wheel. So, you know, like I said, the bobbins only hold an ounce. So, these are 4-ounce braids. I did the same thing. I split them into fourths. And what I've been doing, I'm just going in and pretty much just grabbing one. I had kind of a system, but I don't really care anymore. Now that I'm looking at this fiber again, I really want to get back to spinning it so I can finish this project up. So in the bag, like the very first thing I did with both braids was split them into four parts before I ever started spinning anything. That was what I did for my prep. So you can see like these two, that's 2 different ounces. This is an ounce and this is an ounce. It's kind of starting to fall apart in there. And then I marked the bags 1 and 2. You can see the numbers there. So my bobbins are in here, or you know, my little makeshift bobbins. So so this is what the bobbins look like when they're empty off of the wheel. That's what the bobbins look like. And that's my leader yarn on there. So because at the time I only had 3 bobbins, I've since bought more. But what I'm actually going to do is split it and have 3 bobbins for this project and have 3 bobbins for that one. And none of this is plied yet. So what I've been doing, since I didn't have that many bobbins, after I finish spinning them, I leave it on the bobbin so that it can rest, and then I usually spin up another one and just like leave the latest bobbin in this box to just keep resting until whenever, right? So this is the last one that I spun. And then whenever, you know, I finish the next one, I take the old one off and I wind it onto a tissue paper roll. Where's the thing? And then I don't know if you guys will, yeah, you can kind of see it. I've written 2A in there. So 2 corresponds to the bag, the number on the bag, right? So first braid, second braid. So this was from the second braid, and A means that it was the first ounce I spun from that second braid. And then like this one is 1A. So as you can see, the A's are going to correspond. So that's what's going to get plied together. Yeah, and I'm not doing any fancy like chain plying or any of that because I still don't know how to do it. It's just going to be a simple plying it together. That's it. Yeah, and then so this is 1B, and then this is 2B. So yeah, and you can ply on this wheel. I think that I'm just gonna suck it up. I didn't, because they talk about how changing it and putting the plying drive band on here can, like, it'll tear down the motor. You know, over time as you keep plying, it'll tear down the motor. And they give you another option, so I was like, I'm gonna learn how to do that, but it didn't work too well the first time I tried it. Granted, that was the same day that I was trying to figure out the wheel, so might not have been smart. But I'm not really willing to try it again with this fiber, so I think I'm just gonna risk it and use the little ply band, the thing. give you the longer drive band for applying. There we go. That they give you. And I think I'm just going to try that because I really would like to get something. I was going to say bobbinated. That's not the word. That's a cross stitch thing. Off the bobbins. I want to get something plied so I can like soak it, dry it, be done. Because I really want to see how this is going to turn out. Like I said, so I'll hold up some of my singles here. You can see my singles really are like a thick fingering sport weight. So, I mean, you know, they've gotten better, definitely, since the last ones, but I still don't think that they're going to be fingering weight when it's finished, because I'm going to soak it, I'm going to snap it, you know, so it's probably not going to be that great. So this one is a little thinner. You can kind of see, like, those end bits. Those are really good singles. I've really been trying to focus on putting a little more twist into my singles, too. One, because I want them to be high twist, and two, because I'm still learning, so let's just experiment, right? Yeah, so that's it for whips. That's it for the spinning kind of segment. I do have, well, not really. I have some more spinning related stuff, but I'm not showing you any more spinning. Yeah, so talking about all of that now, and especially looking at that Tuscan sunrise, like, really makes me want to spin. So maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know if I could spin while I edit, though. I have to stop a lot to type. Anyway, so that's all the whips, like I said. I talked about the Advent. So let's go through this retail therapy, and it's honestly pretty quick. So I talked about, I'll go ahead and talk about this. So I talked about the mini, and that's the first one. So the Kickstarter for the Electric Eel Wheel Mini 2 started November 14th or 15th. And it's going amazingly well so far. We're already over, maybe 250,000 by now. I'm not sure. I know we're over 200,000. No, we are over 250,000. I remember that. I don't know how close to 3,000 we are, 300,000 or anything we are. But yeah, so if you go on Kickstarter and you search Electric Eel Wheel, it'll probably pop up pretty quick. That's what I usually do. Yeah, it's on there. You can pledge if you want. I already have. I think it's funny because I literally had only had that wheel for like a month, and then the Kickstarter for the second one came out, and I have to get the second one because it's even quieter than the first one, which is insane. And the bobbins can hold 1.5 to 2 ounces. Guys, that means with one braid, I can just split it in half and then spin. Oh my gosh. So like I won't have to do all this prep. I won't have to have everything kind of split up into 1 ounce little bits, which is going to be great. Yeah, so like I said, I've already pledged mine. The money comes out. The Kickstarter ends sometime at the end of this month. Maybe the 20th, I think, maybe. I think the money comes out of my account on the 20th. So I can't remember exactly when the Kickstarter ends. But sometime around then, like I said, go check it out. Obviously, I'm talking about this, so I'll put a link to it in the show notes. So check the description box to get to the show notes. Yeah, and then they're supposed to be sent out delivered in July. So we got a really long time to wait. I'm going to get to know this baby real good while I wait for the second one. But yeah, I'm excited about that. So that's the first thing for retail therapy. Obviously, I have nothing to show you. This is the next bit, and I will definitely be putting in a picture here because this is not showing up at all correctly. It's a gorgeous Slytherin green, honestly. That's all I have to say about it. It's a gorgeous Slytherin green tonal. And this is from Teeny Button Studio, of course. And of course it looks like Slytherin because it's the Parcel Tongue colorway. So I'm super psyched about this. I already know what I'm making out of this. I was supposed to do a sock test knit for Kalisha of Quirky Monday Crafts, and yeah, I suck as a person, so I haven't even started it, clearly because the yarn is still here, and the test knit's already over. So, yeah, I'm a horrible person, but I'm still gonna knit the socks. I'm still gonna knit them exactly like I was for the test knit, because I was gonna change a couple things, just to be able to stick to the pattern. So, yeah, hopefully by now I've put that picture in for you guys, and oh, I'm so excited to wind this up and start working with it because it's just really, really pretty. I would like to find a silver mini for Heels Toast Cups, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And then the last thing that I have for retail therapy is a knit pick sorter because Black Friday happened, and so, you know, which I did post about in my stories. The big sale is what they call it that they have every year for Black Friday. And I knew that I was going to get stuff. At first I was actually going to get yarn for future sweaters and stuff, but I decided that since my knitting mojo has been kind of out of it, I wasn't going to buy sweater quantities. Even if they would have been pretty cheap, I just wasn't going to buy them because I haven't been knitting that much. But I have been really wanting to spin. So I may have got a ton of fiber. Um, I may have got a ton of fiber. So I got these three colors, as you can see, purple, red, brown. Just gonna grab one of each. So these, like this persimmon, these are all Wool of the Andes roving from Knit Picks, and I knew that I wanted more of this because I've barely even, or not barely, I'm almost done. I'm mostly done with the first ounce of that persimmon colorway, and I've loved spinning this fiber. Like, it's amazing that I loved Wool of the Andes and working with it so much in my Rosemont cardigan, and now like working with the roving for Full of the Andes for Wool of the Andes is just as great. Like, it gives me just as good of a good feeling. So I'm just psyched. So I knew that I had to get more. So I got okay, let's talk about specs first. So this is the tag for them. Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Roving. Um, and it's just like the wool, or just like the yarn, it's 100% Peruvian Highland wool. This is 100 grams, which is about 3.5 ounces for each one. So I got this beautiful brown color. I'm not sure that you guys are going to be able to see it. I'll try to take a picture. I don't know if the camera even will pick this up. You can just barely see it. It's this beautiful brown, and it's got all these shades of yellow and green and maybe some blue and orange and reds over it. I mean, it's just gorgeous, but you can't really see it on the screen too well. You can kind of see it better there. You can see like how that gold is coming through. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. So I got 4 of these because this is such a neutral color, and then it's got the excuse me. Granted, I didn't know it was gonna have, the colors mixed in like that. I don't think from the picture, but it's this gorgeous brown color. So I got 4 of these. I don't know when I'm gonna spin these. These 4 especially, I'm probably gonna wait a little longer before I do anything with these. Because I would really like to get the most out of this. AK, I want to be drafting a little thinner first. Because that would be like a nice, maybe sweater quantity. I have no idea, right? Like, that's what I would hope, but we don't know. But I got 4 of those. Kind of prepping for that just in case. And so, same thing, Wool of the Andes roving, and this one is hot red heather. Oh, I forgot to tell you the colorway. This brown is Merlot heather. There we go. You probably already saw it. Merlot heather. This one is hot red heather. And this purple, I got in anticipation of making something for my mom. And this is, the purple that's on the screen is actually the purple I would have loved. This is a bit brighter. So I'll try to take a picture of these together maybe. The red is a little brighter too, but that's more true to color. This is not really true to color. And this one is Amethyst Heather. So hopefully by now I will have put in a picture. And that was everything. No, it wasn't. So in that same, one more thing, guys. So in that same Knitpicks order, I got this book. It's called Yarn a Texture, which I love. I love it even more because they like broke the word down as if it's in the dictionary. So I love it even more because of that. But yeah, so this is Yarn a Texture, a knitter's guide to spinning, reading backwards here, building exactly the yarn you want. And this is by Jillian Marino. And I'm more than positive that Laura and Leslie mention her quite a lot because her name sounds very familiar for a person that I know I've personally, like, never probably run into, like, even on the webs. But yeah, so I've only flipped through this so far. At some point I'll probably actually use it, you know, like sit down and read it and use it as I'm going through a spin. And it may even be this one, since these two, since I'm wanting to work on these again. But I've only like just barely flipped through it. Look at these gorgeous pictures. This gorgeous picture of the fiber close up though. I love it. I love it. Also, I really want to spin some more Rolex. So, if anyone knows of like a really great place to get some Rolex, let me know. I really want to spin some more Rolex. But yeah, so this is the table of contents. And you can see how I love the way that they have this split up. So the blueprint, the foundation, the frame, the walls, and then it keeps going for every section. They all have names like that. The roof, the front door, the paint. I just love that they've literally like kept to that architecture kind of theme, and yeah. And I mean, I can just tell from each of the sections and how it's kind of divided, this is going to be a really good read. Yeah. I'm super excited. And then like this picture, like, doesn't that just make you want to learn how to spin? Plus, I especially get a kick out of looking at hand spun yarn, like after it's applied and stuff. So, yeah. If I ever get my coffee table clean, the top part of it, the highest shelf clean and staying clean, I really would like this to sit just like as a coffee table book for people to flip through because the pictures are gorgeous. I mean, you can just tell from this cover, like, the photography is just amazing. So at some point, like with all those other books that I said I was going to review, I think there's only that cable one. At some point, I'll get back to this and do a review on it. So, now that's everything. This video, just on my end, is 1 hour and 15 right now, so I'm sure it's almost at 2 hours for you. All I can say is I hope you took breaks if you needed to. So, okay, is that everything I wanted to say? I think that's everything. I am gonna hurry up and hop off of this video to rearrange everything around me for a floss tube and film that. Yeah, we're filming 2 videos today, guys. No, I'm not changing clothes. You're literally gonna see this exact same thing again. And I can guarantee you that that video is probably also gonna be at least 1 hour. So, I've been on hiatus, but you guys are getting a lot of me this week. So, until I have some more knitting or spinning or whatever to show you guys, I will see you on Instagram. Happy knitting. Yeah, some stuff is definitely gonna get cut out. But, what was I gonna say? Yeah, man, if I could just stop coughing. Okay, that I have a feeling that spot's gonna be super spicy because I'm gonna have to cut all those coughs out.